The invasive fish species. An invasive species is a living organism that includes any plant and animal that is introduced to a new environment. Invasive species can bring lots of negative impacts towards the ecosystem, mainly due to their feeding habits and competitions with the native species. Before we proceed to the invasive fish species, let's watch some of the other terrestrial invasive species that exist in the ecosystem. Introducing the invasive plant species. Capeweed is a type of invasive species in plants. It is a fast-spreading ground cover plant with bright yellow flowers. The reason why it is an invasive species is that it often competes for sunlight and other resources with the native plants. The terrestrial invasive species. The feral pigs, or also known as the wild boars, are one of the existing terrestrial invasive species. Habitats of the native plants and animals or even crops are often being destroyed, due to their wallowing behavior. Moreover, they are also capable to spread the environmental weeds, and as well as spreading the exotic diseases. Next, we have the Asian carp as the invasive fish species. The Asian carp is a widespread freshwater fish of eutrophic waters in lakes and large rivers. These carps cause harm to the environment, as they feed on the snails and mussels, that are already endangered. Let's talk about the invasive fish species in Malaysia. Just like any other countries, these invasive fish species do exist in Malaysia too. Their presence has caused many unnecessary impacts towards the economy and the biodiversity in the country. The impact of invasive species to the ecosystem in Malaysia. These invasive species usually competes with the native species for the limited resources, mainly for food and spawning area. These competitions will directly alter the conditions' native environment, such as a sudden spike of the invasive species population, followed by a population drop of the native species. The impacts of invasive species towards the economy. The invasive species is a double-edged sword when affecting the economy. Fishes that are intended to be grown for sale may be harmed and threatened, however the booming population of the invasive species may increase the sales of these species as ornamental fishes. The existence of a species in a new environment usually turns them into an invasive species. The irresponsible act of disposing the ornamental fish by the fish hobbyists is one of the reasons for this occurrence. Some of the aquarium releases or illegal imports of fish might also be the contributors to the existence of invasive species. Clearly, keeping these ornamental fish away from releasing to the public water bodies is the direct way to reduce and prevent them from becoming an invasive species. Apart from that, enforcing the laws is also an effective way that may helps to combat the illegal fish imports. Let's sum up everything. An invasive species is the living organism that exists in a new environment that is not its origin. Its presence can't be neglected, as it is capable to bring lots of negative impacts towards the biodiversity of an ecosystem, as well as the economy of a country. Hence, prevention should be taken before these consequences had become worse. Thanks for watching, hope that you had learnt something new today about the invasive species. Stay tuned for our next video to explore more about the invasive fish species. See you next time.